Okay, hello guys. Today we're going to be learning about the volume of cubes and pyramids. So I bet a lot of you have solved for volume before, and before we've been mainly using rectangular prisms or cubes. So whenever we do that, we know that the volume, or maybe you'll become familiar with this today, the volume equals my length times my base times my height. So we're going to change this formula up just a little bit today. We're still going to keep the same formula, but just kind of try to think about it in different ways so it applies to more things. So let's go ahead and start with our first one. So if we look at this one right here, we see that we have this rectangular prism that has the base of 2, the width of 2, and the height of 2. So because the base, width, and height are all the same length, we can call this a cube. Oops, I want to write. We can call this a cube. So we know that a cube, we can find our volume by multiplying our length times width times height. But when we're talking about cubes, we know that all three are the same. So we can say our volume equals our length cubed to the third power. So either way you want to think about it, I'm good with either. So that means that if I plug in my information for here, I get my volume equals my 2 times 2, it's not writing, 2 times my 2. And if I multiply 2 times 2, which is 4 times 2, so this totals 8. 8. It's not what I want. 8. And we can't just leave it there. We have to add our units. So our volume equals 8 centimeters. And because we multiply our centimeters 3 times in here, then it's going to be centimeters cubed. Okay, so let's go to our second problem. So our second problem down here, it says, what is the volume of this? So this is the length, width, and height are not all the same, but all the sides are rectangles. So we call this a rectangular prism. So let's write that, rectangular prism. So we find this like at the very beginning. We said we found our volume by multiplying our length times our width times our height. Or another way that we can say this is by multiplying the area of base, because length times width is the area of a rectangle, and our base is a rectangle, if we kind of fill it out. So like our base is a rectangle, so we find the area of our base, and then we're going to multiply that by multiply times our height. That comes in a little bit more helpful in just a few minutes. Okay, but to find our volume for this, we're going to find our length times width. So let's have our 5 feet as our length, our 3 feet as our width, and then our 4 foot as our height. So I would multiply my 4 foot by 5 foot times my 3 foot, 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 foot. It's not writing. Foot times my 4 foot. Okay, and then when I multiply these all together, I get 5 times 3. 5 times 3, which is 15, times 4, which is 50. So I got 50, and then I got feet multiplied 1, 2, 3 times. So our units are going to be cubic feet cubed. And for all volumes, our units will always be cubed. Okay, so now we're moving on into our next one. So our last one is a little bit different. So we have this time, instead of a rectangular prism, we have a triangular a triangular prism. It's called a triangular prism because a prism means that the base is going to be rectangular, and then it's triangular because one of the sides is a triangle. Okay, so we have a triangular. So we got a triangular prism. So in this one, this is kind of where I want you to switch your thinking from saying volume is length times width times height, because in this, it's not really going to work the same. And so I want you to switch your thinking of volume as our volume equal to our area of the base times our height. So in this, we can make our base any of these sides. It doesn't matter what side is actually facing the floor, quote unquote. We're just going to make one of these sides our base. And I'm going to make this triangular side our base. So if our base is that triangle, we need to find the area of that triangle. So we know that the area of any triangle is half base times height. And then multiply that times our. So we're going to find our area of our base. So if I have my half times my base of my triangle is going to be this 5 times my 5, and then times my height of my triangle, which is going to be this 3 over here, times 3. Oops. Times 3. And if I multiply these together, I'm going to get 15 halves. I'm just going to leave it in fractional form. And then now I'm going to multiply this entire base times the height of my pyramid. So I'm going to multiply all of this times, ooh, that's very thick. All of this times my 6. It's not writing again. All this times my 6. And so if I multiply 15 halves times 6, I can cancel out the 2 with the 6, and I'm left, the 2 simplifies out, so I'm left with 3. Here, so I got 15 times 3, which is, here, let me move my screen down. So I get 15 times 3, which equals, oops, still not writing. 15 times 3, which equals 45. So that means that our volume of this triangular prism is 45 centimeters cubed. I hope this helped you out a bit when you're going into your IXL today. And just remember that our volume equals our area of base times our height. Okay, y'all have a great day, guys. I will see y'all next time.